Patrick Mahomes, Brock Purdy, Isaiah Pacheco, Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, and Usher. That's right. It is Super Bowl props time. Welcome to Prop It Up. I am Andy Lang from WagerTalk.com. It's time. It is here, Super Bowl weekend, and we are here to help you get ready with the props for the big game. Andrew McGinnis is joining me, my fellow prop master. We're just going to get right into it. We really don't have a format for the show. We're just going to start talking props. So, Andrew, let's just get right into it. Tell me a prop, what you like about it, and just start going, man. It can be any prop. I don't know if you've got cross-sport props you want to go over. Just get us going.
Good to be here with you, Andy. Yeah, I could throw you a curveball and start with the most wild prop possible, but I'll keep it pretty basic, and I'll look at the under on passing attempts for Brock Purdy. He's gone under 31.5 in 8 of his last 10 games here. I expect a big, strong run game for this Niners team. Of course, we all know with the great Christian McCaffrey they have, I do think Elijah Mitchell gets involved. I do think Deebo Samuel gets involved in the running game as well. I think that we can see that kind of take a long time for those drives. And you look at a lot of the games that they've played, and even the games that they had to come back in, he hasn't surpassed that many attempts past this number here, just based on strategy. And you also look at it, they're no strangers to some big plays as well. You know, it wouldn't shock me to see a big pass to Kittle. You get that big pass, it also, takes less time to get down the field, which means less passing attempts. I also think when Kansas City has the ball, they're going to take a long time. A lot of dink and dunk from them. They're not really, bombing the ball down the field by any means. So the more time Kansas City takes when they have possession and they milk the clock, less time Brock Purdy has for his passing attempts. So looking over this one here, whether they win or lose this Niners team, I believe Brock Purdy goes under on his passing attempts.
So one of the things that we have to do when we're talking about Super Bowl props is we do have to figure out what we think the game script is going to be, and that's going to help us, key in. So Andrew, you mentioned something that I agree with completely. I think the running backs are going to be the stars of this game and going to be the main points of the game plan. These two defenses are good. Really good. But if you had to pick a weak spot of each defense, it's probably the running game. So I'm with you on the under on attempts, and to just kind of piggyback off that, I like Isaiah Pacheco over 16.5 rush attempts. This is a linebacking core of the San Francisco 49ers, probably the best in the league. The secondary is really good, but we've seen that you can run on the 49ers, and they're going to have to soften up this 49ers defense to make sure Patrick Mahomes has time to throw at points. So I'm looking at Isaiah Pacheco, and 24 carries against Baltimore, 24 carries against Miami, only 15 against Buffalo, but he did have 97 yards. So he's had success in the postseason, and absolutely no reason to hold back on these guys. Like, full effort. This is obviously the last game of the season, so you're not saving anything. And if this is a Kansas City Chiefs team that is up in the second half, they absolutely are going to use Pacheco to run out the clock. Getting Jerick McKinnon back does not worry me at all. I really like this over rush attempts. I think he gets a lot of work early in the game. This is Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, who they stick to their game plan. Unlike Baltimore, who we saw completely lose their minds, they're going to have a game plan, and they're just going to stick to it. They've been here before. They know the best way to attack the San Francisco team is to get the running game going. I'm with you on the Purdy under pass attempts, and I like Isaiah Pacheco over rush attempts. I could see both McCaffrey and Pacheco going over, but I'll settle on Pacheco, 16.5. What's another prop that you've got your eye on, Andrew?
Andy, it took us, going into the second prop for me to have one that you had as well. So great minds think alike. I always like that, but I didn't think it would happen that fast, that's for sure. But I do like that one as well. Speaking of a rushing attempts prop, actually, I'm going to go back to Brock Purdy. I like him over 3.5 rushing attempts. The Chiefs have allowed the third most rushing attempts to quarterbacks during the regular season, and the most rushing attempts in the postseason as well, 7.5 per game. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Tua almost getting there. And realistically, we've seen him take off a lot more. And if he is facing pressure, if he doesn't like what he's seeing out there, I mentioned it's going to be a strong run game for the Niners. I might as well throw in the quarterback's name as well for a few runs to keep the defense guessing. At 3.5, I don't think they've adjusted for what we've seen recently from Purdy. He's not the most athletic. He's not really the fastest guy, but he seems to just be very smart when he does escape the pocket and get moving. So over 3.5 rushing attempts is a great one because you don't really get impacted by the yards, Andy. And that's what's really nice too. Obviously, you have the kneels, the victory formations, things like that. But I just think with this one, at least, early on, especially if he sees a hole, he'll take it. So over 3.5 rushing attempts. I'm a huge fan with quarterbacks with taking the attempts over the yards, just because you don't really have to worry about what they do after they take off. Just worry about them taking off a few times.
Love it. Let's get a little crazy here. Let's go to a cross sport parlay. Let's liven up the show here a little bit.
Didn't take long.
Let's take Justin Thomas in the Waste Management Phoenix Open to have more birdies in the fourth round than 49ers touchdowns. It's minus 200. I think it should be minus 2,000, Andrew. Here's why. It's raining and damp, or it was raining yesterday. The course is soft. Sunday is going to be the best weather that they're going to have at the Phoenix Open. The greens are going to be really receptive. These guys are going to be throwing darts because the ball is not going to be rolling too far. All you got to do is hit the fairway, and you're going to have a really good approach shot coming in. The pin placements are set up for scoring on the last day. Last year, in the fourth round, Justin Thomas had 7 birdies. I don't think the 49ers are going to come up with that many touchdowns against this Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, how many touchdowns are they realistically going to have? 2, 3, maybe? This is a course and a day that is really, really gettable for the guys. Justin Thomas, last 6 months, has got the best total strokes gained. He's finished top 20 in this tournament the last 6 years. He loves this course, loves playing here. So Justin Thomas to have more birdies in the fourth round on Sunday versus the 49ers touchdown, that is a cross-sport parlay that I love. What's another prop you got your eye on?
I love that so much. It's always a good thing when you have someone telling you the price should be that much different than what it's currently set at, Andy. Man, I like that one. All right, well, look, everyone's talking about Taylor Swift. People are always talking about Kelsey. I kind of feel bad for Kelsey, even though I shouldn't. The fact that he didn't get any football-related questions asked to him all week during media. But we got to find a way to bet on this guy, right? I think, obviously, he's really stepped up his game. They've been going to him a lot. But I'm going to elect to just go to the longest reception for Travis Kelce, up and over 20.5 here. Gone over this mark 10 times this season, all 3 playoff games. And the Niners have been allowing tight ends, and not really the highest class tight ends, to exceed this mark here. In a big game like this, I think that we've really seen with this Kansas City Chiefs team, they haven't really had a huge, threshold and amount of options out there as far as the receivers that are making big plays. If they're going to do well in this game and they're going to need a big play, especially on third down, over 20.5 longest reception for Travis Kelce has to be in play, I believe here, Andy.
Yeah, I like it. I agree that Kelsey's got to be a big part. Like, the linebackers are great for San Francisco, but this is a Kansas City Chiefs team that they know who is the best players on their team. I think you've seen the amount of receivers catch passes in the playoffs kind of gets lower and lower because it's like we're going to throw the ball a lot to Rice and a lot to Kelsey. So I like that one. I will go with Patrick Mahomes not to throw an interception. Love the price. It's hovering around minus 115. This is a guy that just doesn't turn the ball over once you get to the postseason. He was careless with the ball a lot in the regular season. He had 14 interceptions. He has none so far in this postseason, and he had none last postseason. And I think the reason we're getting such a great price is the 49ers were tied with the most interceptions in the league with 22. But you go and look at who they had the interceptions against, and there was Sam Howell was in there. There was just some, there were some really bad quarterbacks that they had interceptions. So I went and looked at the good quarterbacks that they played. Lamar Jackson, no interceptions against him. Even Jalen Hurts in the 42-19 win, no interceptions there. So I kind of see this 49ers team beating up on some of these bad quarterbacks and getting a lot of interceptions. Again, I think you and I both like the running games to be featured. I don't know that he's going to drop back and throw the ball a ton. He doesn't make big mistakes. He's not afraid to tuck the ball and run. I don't think he puts the ball in a bad spot, and I don't think he. The other thing, I don't think he throws a ball to these wide receivers who have dropped the ball and caused some interceptions that he's had in the regular season. I don't. You can't risk it here in the Super Bowl. So I think he's pretty cautious with the ball. I like Patrick Mahomes not to have an interception. Guys, if you're enjoying the gambling content, please hit the like button and listen, leave us a comment. Tell us what your best prop is. It's going to be a lot of fun to go through all those comments and see what you guys like there. So leave us a comment. Also hit the like button and hit the bell, subscribe. We've got tons of free videos up at WagerTalk YouTube channel. If you want individual game breakdowns, we've got those. There are a few prop videos. Every day we're putting out college basketball and NBA individual game videos to help you out with your bankroll. So take advantage of that. Hit the like button and the bell. Be a subscriber. But more importantly, leave us a comment. Tell us what you like for this weekend. Andrew, let's get into another prop. But first, tell everyone what you have up and where we can find you at.
Andy, it's very simple. I think if anybody is purchasing a handicapper's plays for the Super Bowl, don't get just one play, because most handicappers are going to have more than one play. Buy the prop pack, or the rest of February, I believe, is the best way to go. We got NHL plays, heating up with some NBA as well, and looking forward to getting back on track with some UFC, man, for the next few weeks. Very busy in the MMA world. So only a handful of plays actually for the Super Bowl so far, but we'll see if I end up adding to it or not. But it's, as you always tell people, it's not about the quantity, it's the quality, and hopefully we can have a big weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. You got your eye on another prop for us. We're going to keep going with the standard game props. You got something weird for us?
I'll give you another one in a second. I'll give you one of those. Don't worry, we'll get there. We'll get there. Look, I want to take the over on Mahomes with his passing attempts. I kind of probably should have put this labeled next to Brock Purdy on his under, but he's averaging 40 pass attempts per game in losses this season. You can probably tell what side I like in this one. He's got over it in 5 of his last 6 losses in regular season. Niners are number 5 against the run. And I feel like I said, even if it's not like really long passes and super exciting plays, it's going to be dump offs to Pacheco and kind of those dink and dunk plays where things just add up. And late in games, they might need this. They might need, and their drives, their time in possession, I've noticed with this Chiefs team, they're not getting up the field very fast. They're not a team that, whether it's in victory or in defeat this season, that is really have the ability to have that 2-minute drill, get up the field super fast. It takes them time. As much as I mentioned that Kelsey over on longest reception, there's not many guys on this team right now that are catching a long ball. So over 36.5, I think you've got one team good against the pass, one team good against the run. And I think here, this Chiefs team is going to really rely on their passing game to be strong.
Love it. I'm going to DraftKings. They have it's not props involving Taylor Swift. It's Taylor Swift themed props. And I was kind of scrolling through them, and she has that song called 15. And there is a prop, Patrick Mahomes to have 15 plus yards rushing and 215 yards passing. It's minus 140. Yeah, sign me up. Pretty simple breakdown here. He's done it every game this postseason. I like that. He's got 241 yards and 15 yards rushing against Baltimore, 215 and 19 against Buffalo, 262 and 41 against Miami. This is a low rushing number that Patrick Mahomes can easily get over in one rush. He's got a 24-yard rush and a 28-yard rush in the postseason, and 215 yards. You have to go all the way back to the very first week of December to find a game when he went under that one, and that was on the road at Green Bay. So it's in the DraftKings section if you want to look it up, but I didn't think there was going to be much in there, but I actually legit like that one. So if you have DraftKings, I think that one's worth a look. What's another prop you got for us, Andrew?
I got one for you, and it's Cole Caulfield. Will he score a goal versus versus Christian McCaffrey touchdown in the first half? For me, look, I'm a Montreal Canadiens fan. We talk on Puck Time all the time. Everybody knows I am. But here's the deal. Cole Caulfield, he's their best goal scorer on the Canadiens. They're one of the worst goal scoring teams in the entire league. They don't really have consistency as far as who their superstars are. And you've talked about it a lot on the show throughout the years here. A lot of times, if you don't like the price you're getting on a guy to score a touchdown, you can bet the guy to score in the first half. I think I would go with Christian McCaffrey to score a touchdown in the first half versus Cole Caulfield to get a goal this weekend. And to me, this is a Montreal Canadiens team that it's a mixed bag every game. They've got fourth liners, third liners that score. It's something that's very unpredictable. So as much as Caulfield's on a pretty good run right now, I'm going to go against him. I can much more rely on Christian McCaffrey getting in the end zone in the first half versus a guy on a team that's, close to last place in their conference, finding the back of the net. So NHL and NFL cross-sport.
Love that one. Let's get a little wonky before we get back to some actual NFL props. I found this one. Will Usher wear sunglasses at any point during the halftime show? Yes, absolutely. He always wears sunglasses. I went through his live shows because I'm a nerd. I go through his live shows to try and find, and I could only find one live performance in the last few years where he did not wear sunglasses, and it was a really dark. I don't know if it was at night. I couldn't see it that well. But it was so dark in there, and every outdoor show that he does, he wears sunglasses for at least one song. I found a 50-minute performance where he didn't wear sunglasses for like the first 40 minutes, and then bang, all of a sudden sunglasses go on. So you look at his music videos, most of the time there's sunglasses involved. So will Usher wear sunglasses during the halftime show? Yes, absolutely he will. And fun fact, Andrew, on the halftime show I was reading, he does not get paid for the halftime show. And most of these artists that do the halftime show, they actually have to come out of pocket on their own. But they make so much off of promoting their upcoming tours and their sales that they're willing to actually come out of pocket to pay to be a part of the halftime show or be featured in the halftime show. Wild. You'd never guess that Usher's paying to be part of it, but it's apparently a wise investment. So what's another prop you're looking at?
Yeah, Andy, it's interesting you say that because like my first reaction when I heard that was like super shocked. But then you think about like it's kind of like when you hear for the first time like how much people are paying for advertisements, right? It's pretty much what it is. Except for he's just doing a performance and getting money out of it, based on people watching his songs and things like that. I've got one for all my Canadian viewers. So if you're American, you probably can't bet this, but hey, we probably have a good Canadian audience on this massive YouTube channel here. We're going to go with over 17.5 million Canadian viewers across CTV and TSN. It is unbelievable that they're offering a prop like this. The number has grown by like a few million over the past few years. We were just below this last year, Andy, and football ratings have been up. And let's not forget, okay, my girlfriend is not watching the game because she likes football. Maybe she watches the big game. She's watching because of Taylor Swift. The Taylor Swift effect will have so many people watching this that will never watch it, mostly girls. And I'm going to go over 17 and a half. This is at FanDuel for all my Canadian viewers. Maybe you have a VPN. You can get this. I don't know if Andy, if you can bet this one. This is one that I have gotten down on. Over 17 and a half million viewers across Canada watch the Super Bowl.
That is wild. That is a wild prop. I'm gonna have to find a way to get action down on that one. That is quite the prop, man. I like that one.
I gotta start going door to door. Hey, are you gonna watch the game? Are you watching the game?
Turn on your TV. You're running through the neighborhood, making sure everyone's TV is on. Love it. I'm going to go to a team total. You can play the 49ers under 24.5 points, and I like that. I think this is a lower scoring game. I've been a believer in the Chiefs defense the entire season. That young defense has played well. Not played well. They've played absolutely fantastic. And what I love is that they're healthy. All their best players are coming into this game at or near 100%. So let's take a look at some of these team totals that the Chiefs have allowed. You're just going through the regular season: 20 against Detroit, 9, 10, 20, 28, 17. Even in a game they lost against Denver, Denver scored 24 points. And that was a game Kansas City had 5 turnovers in. They gave up 27 points at Green Bay. But other than that, it's a pretty clean slate of not allowing teams over this total. Miami only scored 7 against them. Baltimore only scored 10 against them. Even Buffalo didn't get over. They came in at 24. And this is a 49ers team that did not go over against the Green Bay Packers. They did go over against Detroit, but Detroit's horrific defense has been well documented. I was all over overs in that one. I love getting the hook here. I can see them landing on 24. I've said I think this game is like a 24-21 type of score. So I think the value is in the under on the San Francisco 49ers team total. If you're a believer in the unders, you don't have to just look at the total for the game. You can look at some of these team totals and isolate in which team is going to struggle a little bit more on offense. So 49ers team total under 24.5 is one that I really like.
Andy, I'll keep things going with the running game, brother. I'll keep looking at all these guys that hopefully run. I look like I might be a guy that's just micro betting here and betting running play every single game, every single play of this game. I'm going to look at Elijah Mitchell over 4.5 rushing yards. You know, a lot of times you hear people discussing that, you know, the public, general, you know, population loves to bet overs. Of course, it's entertaining for people, but if you notice, I haven't taken a lot of massive numbers to the overs. A lot of my numbers, a lot of my overs for the Super Bowl are kind of these lower numbers. And as I mentioned, looking at the Chiefs going up against a really good pass rush defense, well, we've got a really good opportunity here, I think, for this San Fran team to run the ball a ton. The passing game might not go great. The Chiefs' passing defense has been great. But running the ball is going to be key to open things up for Brock Purdy to make the occasional big play. Like I said, Christian McCaffrey, I like his attempts. I think he will obviously make a ton of big plays. But you throw Deebo Samuel in there, you look at what you can get with Elijah Mitchell. He's gone over 4.5 rushing yards. I know it's a very small number here, Andy, in 7 of his last 10 games. Last time out against the Lions, 3 rushing attempts, 7 yards. I mean, this is all you need for this play. Let's be real here. I pretty much need him to run the ball twice, I'd say. 2 or 3 times, like maximum. Get him the ball. If he's a part of the game script, then he will go up and over this number. And I really think that, you know, they could probably win this game or have a big game with Christian McCaffrey going under his rushing number because how much they're going to spread the ball out. It would not shock me to see. And you see it every year in the Super Bowl. Guys, you know, it's all about depth. It's all about those secondary options. Obviously, there's the old saying about big-time players making big-time plays in big games, but you also need your second options to show up. And looking at some of these games where he has gone over, we've seen 25 yards, 37 yards. He had an explosive game against Tampa several weeks ago. And like I mentioned, they're constantly trying to keep the defense guessing. If C-Mac has a big run, right, and they need to give him a breather, put him back on the sideline for a second, you know, first down run, Elijah Mitchell, a couple yards. We need 5 yards to cash this prop, Andy. I'll go Mitchell over.
Like it. There's a plus 120 prop that I like, and that is, will each team have a rushing touchdown? And I say yes, they will. We talked about how we think the running backs are going to have success, and that is the way to attack. And these are teams that run the ball when they get in close. Isaiah Pacheco's had a rushing touchdown in every game, even against Baltimore. Baltimore had allowed 6 rushing touchdowns total in the regular season, and Pacheco still got in. And then, I mean, Christian McCaffrey, the guy's got 4 rushing touchdowns in the postseason, 2 against Detroit, 2 against Green Bay. Once they get inside the 5-yard line, you know, it's almost like the Jalen Hurts brotherly shove, where it's like once they get inside the 2-yard line, you know it's coming. With the 49ers, once they get in the 5, you know what's coming. It's Christian McCaffrey up the gut 3 times. So I think plus 120 is pretty good price. I don't expect a lot of touchdowns, but if they are going to get touchdowns from these teams, once they get in close, I do think you're going to see Christian McCaffrey and Pacheco punching in. So plus 120, really good price. I like that one. Any other props that you have, Andrew?
And I'll throw out 2 special teams props I like. I'm a huge believer, especially in the Super Bowl, with the under on the shortest touchdown. I just think, whether it's pass interference from a guy that expects a heavy run game, how often do you see, guys just get stopped on the 1 yard line, you line up again and you catch that, a lot of times as well. In these big games, I understand that, based on some things I've heard and some research I've looked at, there haven't been as many penalties in Super Bowls. But a lot of times you're seeing at least one pass interference flag go down in the end zone, and that's what leads to the shortest touchdown. So, and especially with these guys running the ball so much, I feel like that will be a factor. So I'll go shortest there. And then, again, a lot of these props that I'm taking, which is kind of nice for my sanity to be able to enjoy the game, don't really decide who's going to win the game. But I do think that we're going to see Butker have the most kicking points at minus 124. This KC team, as much as they're able to make risks, as much as they can take chances, they do have the talent. They've got Mahomes, and they can go to Kelsey if they need him. But I think they're going to play very safe. You and I like a lot of unders, or I guess expect the game to be kind of more lower scoring. I think that this game could be a chess match, and I don't see any risk being taken. And you've mentioned to me in the past about this Chiefs team, how they don't take many risks. They have no problem settling for the field goal. Butker has a great track record. Of course, you do need some extra points thrown in there as well, but I'm going to take Butker to have more kicking points than Jake Moody.
Last prop that I have, Andrew, is I think you have to do something with Kyle Juszczyk in the receiving game. You can there's a couple of options that you have here: 4.5 yards receiving or over half a reception. If he catches one, I think the yards hit as well, and it just feels like Shanahan always has that 1 or 2 special plays designed for Juszczyk. We've seen him go over this total in the last couple games, and it's just it feels a little obscure, but it just seems to happen in all the big games. The 49ers trust him. He's got good hands. You see him, he might be a sneaky guy for a touchdown as well. If they get it in real close, I could see a sneaky handoff where everyone that has Christian McCaffrey to score a touchdown loses their mind because Juszczyk just ran it in. But I lean more towards the 4.5 receiving yards. If he's going to catch a pass, I think it's going to be on kind of a screen pass or something a little bit farther down the field. So, and I know we have some Juszczyk fans in the chat today, so I'm sure that'll go over good. So yeah, Juszczyk, you only need one of these plays, and he always seems to be involved in one special play. They've had 2 weeks to try and design a special one. So give me Juszczyk over 4.5 receiving yards. Do you have any more props for us, Andrew?
I really like that one, Andy. That's one that I have locked in as well. Again, it's one of those ones where one catch and you cash. Even for the greatest players, the big name guys out there, some of their props are juiced up so high. You need so much out of them. I'll mention one more, and the rest are going to be for just client plays, Andy. And we do have some novelty ones that we're actually going to spit out as like 1% type of plays, as long as you can get them everywhere. But MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, over 17.5. Over his last 5 games, he's gotten there, but I look at just the playoff games, honestly. 62 against Buffalo. Last week, 38 yards. I mentioned how important depth is, and you look at this Chiefs team, really, like I keep saying, they haven't had that many options. There's only been a couple guys that have scored a touchdown for them throughout the entire playoffs over their last 4 games. So I think he needs to be a huge factor. It's only 17.5, and the best part is a lot of times when he is targeted, it's a pretty deep pass, 10 to 15 yards. And if the number is only 17.5, it's not going to take much to get us there. I mentioned we got a good run defense over there in San Fran. I like Patrick Mahomes over on his passing attempts. We got to find some guys he's going to pass the ball to. Marquez Valdez-Scantling over 17.5 receiving yards.
Love it, love it. Before we go, I'll go over my Taylor Swift. I only have one Taylor Swift prop. You can find one under 28.5 seconds shown on live TV. This is going under. You can't bet too much on it, but it's going under. She only averages being on TV 25 seconds. She's getting upset about being featured there. And against the Ravens, she was featured on there, but they were promoting the Grammys. They don't need to do that anymore. And this is the Super Bowl. There's so many sponsors they have to get to, and there's so many other things that they're going to get to. I think she's not going to be featured that much. She's coming back from a concert. There was that clip of her being like stop, like why do you keep showing me? So I don't think they're going to feature her that much. The story's been overblown. No reason to keep hitting us over the head. So I like the under 28.5 seconds. All right, guys, hit the like button and leave us a comment. I've got my Super Bowl pack that is up at WagerTalk.com on a 47-25 run in the NFL. Having a pretty good week, 3-2, only 5 plays this week, but we're up units, 3-2, pretty happy with that. So make sure you check out all plays at WagerTalk.com. You can find myself and Andrew there. Don't forget, guys, just because it's the Super Bowl doesn't mean there aren't other sports taking place. Really, really good way to build your bankroll is with these NHL lines, UFC, all these other sports. Starting next week, we have no NFL, and then it gets really, really fun because we can focus on some of these other sports that are just absolute great ways to put money into your pocket. So thanks, everyone, for joining us on Prop It Up, last show of the NFL season. Appreciate everybody in the chat who's been with us from the very beginning. Let's end this season on a high note. Let's cash some tickets on the Super Bowl with our props. Good luck on all your plays. We will see everyone next